What's going on, everybody? Terrence here from Root Healthy Plants, and I'm adding to my food forest today. I have some Swiss chard, some spinach I'm going to put out here and go out on a limb and see how well it does without adding any netting. I'm going to do a no-till method, so I have some cardboard here. I'm going to cut this up because I'm putting it in between trees. So I have a nectarine tree right here. I have a chestnut tree right here. And I just want to optimize space. Like right here is our walking space that I'm going to put wood chips in. And I'm going to optimize this space right here and plant something in the middle. So I have some compost ready. I have some topsoil ready, and I want to see how well it goes. So I don't really have 100% confidence that the bugs are not going to eat up my leafy greens, because they've ate up my leafy greens in the past. So this is more of an experiment just to see how well it does in the front, because I'm building a food forest in my backyard, which is like 5 times as big as my front yard. But I want to build a food forest in my front yard to also show the community that this is possible, because everyone on my street pretty much, they spray for pesticides. Everyone has a big lawn. Everyone likes to look at grass. And I want to kind of get rid of my grass and show that you can have a food forest in your front yard, backyard, wherever growing space that you have, to plant healthy, whole food, organic food, and you don't have to rely on supermarkets. So yeah, let's get started. Kind of want to line this up with the bed that's in front of here. I'll kind of give you a little look and pan to the left, where you can kind of see over here where I have onion over here, and then on this side I have garlic on this side. Over here, I know it's hard to see. I think the camera's blurring because I'm so close to it, but I have onion growing on this side. I have elephant garlic growing on this side. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 5, 6, 7 sprouts so far on that onion garlic. I got a Siberian peach tree right here. I have more onion growing on this side. I have a lot more garlic growing in here. Got a sprout right here. I'm waiting for the rest to sprout. Oh, I've got another sprout right here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But we got a couple sprouts so far. But yeah, let's get back to the area that we're planting in today. I have over 10 fruit or nut trees in the front here. I plan on putting a couple more just to kind of pack this area as much as I can, so that it looks like just so much abundance. We want to optimize our space, grow as much food as we can, of course. All right, let's put this right here. So, we still got a couple staples in there. Kind of poke those out. I don't know where that staple went. I got one. Put it in my pocket. So I put that there. Oh, there it goes. Found it. Put that there. I got a couple of scrap pieces of cardboard to kind of fill the holes. I don't mind putting a little extra cardboard. I don't want to put not enough because it helps with weeds poking through. So I kind of put that there. Found some cardboard laying in other places that I would use. Some scrap pieces, there we go. Now, this is not 100% necessary. It's just something that I choose to do. But we'll layer that pretty good on there. And actually, this cardboard came from ordering trees. This one might have came with the plum tree that I ordered. I'm not sure. I think this came with the plum tree or the fig tree. But yeah, we're ready to plant. Or ready to lay down the first layer. So I got some compost that I'll put over here on top of this first. Ooh, I'm stepping on the bed. You guys were supposed to tell me that. So, I mean, this compost is not 100% finished. I'm not someone who is like overly particular about the compost needing to be 100% finished. The worms will continue to decompose it and do what they need to do. So I'm not worried about that. But my main thing is I want to have some organic matter under that topsoil, because the topsoil is not full of nutrients. So the plants won't do as well. I mean, so what I like to also do, I kind of feel it. If like the sticks and stuff are pretty fresh, which I see some green, it was kind of strong still, it didn't break apart easy. I'm not going to use that at the bottom of this bed. This one's a little bit more, this side is a little bit more brittle. I'll throw it at the bottom. But yeah, that one side was like pretty green. I'm not going to use that. See, I still got some cabbage that I added to the compost just yesterday, actually. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about that. Throw that on top here. Here, I think this is actually a really good wheelbarrow because, or it's not, I don't even know if it's called a wheelbarrow. My Gorilla Cart, which this is not an ad, but this thing has been amazing with saving my back, because that wheelbarrow that I had, I don't know, it just doesn't do the same. I got to put more work into it. All right, let's just dump this. And this thing tips all the way over, just like light work. That was simple. Like I said, this is not an ad, but this Gorilla Cart is amazing. I can't lie. So, dumped all that compost. I thought I had enough compost. Let's see if that's enough. All right, so we'll just spread this out on this cardboard here. I'm kind of eyeballing how much compost we need. Actually, I might want a little bit more. We'll see. All this is organic matter. Leaves, grass, sticks, cabbage, avocado seeds. What I add in here? I added just yesterday some plantain that I didn't use. We got an avocado seed right here. Yeah. Right. I mean, this might be good enough. I might make this work because I'm not trying to prolong this video and I'm trying to get done with this bed. But there's plenty here to work with. I can always come back and add some more organic matter on top or mix it in with the topsoil. Or avocado seed, jeez, a lot of avocado seeds. As you can tell, me and my wife, we eat a lot of avocados. It's one of our favorite things to eat. We're in zone 7 in New Jersey. So, you know, it's unfortunate that we can't plant our own avocados, but, you know, it is what it is. I'll buy them for now. Maybe if I can get to the point where I can fund building a geo greenhouse. I think it's called a geothermal greenhouse. I would love to have one of those and be able to plant citrus and tropical fruit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some topsoil on top. Cover this up. All right. So far, so good. And this is just to protect the soil underneath, the compost. We're not digging in the ground. We're not tilling. This is regenerative gardening. So I got a couple more bags here. Get it, spread this nice and even. Okay, looking good, looking good. Got 2 more bags that I'm gonna spread. So in this bed, I'm gonna start adding in some, I think I mentioned it already, some spinach and Swiss chard. What else I got? Today I'm, not in this video, but I gotta put some raspberry in the ground. Got 3 raspberry bushes I'm gonna put in. And what else? I don't know. Come to this other side. I think this might cover it, and I'll just put one more bag on top to kind of just layer it a little better. What the fuck is all this? This is a root system right here. But there's 2 worms in here. You know what? I'll put that back in there. I don't know what roots those were, where that came from. I hope it's not weeds. But there were worms all nestled in that root system right there. I think I'm gonna move this card out the way if it's blocking the camera. So you can see better. That was pretty quick, right? This bed looks like it's ready to plant in already. I'll put one more bag of topsoil on here. Let's make sure everything is covered. I see a couple avocado seeds kind of poking through. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. And like I said, I'm going to come through, and on that side and on this side, it's going to be layered pretty heavily with wood chips, so I'm not worried about the grass kind of spreading its way into this bed. We're going to snuff out that grass because I think I seen hashtag F grass, right? You know, you're not eating grass, Not regular, traditional grass in the yard. I'm not speaking about lemongrass or any of that type of grass, but typically we're not eating grass. It's just there to look at, spend money, wasting water on it. You pay landscapers or you cut your own grass. So it's taking time, it's taking money. Time is money, and I don't care about grass. That's just my philosophy. All right, so we got some Swiss chard here, and we have some Bloomsdale long-standing spinach. Okay, so I got some soil blocks, some 2-inch soil blocks that I did maybe, when did I do these? So I dated them, 4/12. This is what they look like from April 12th. So maybe what's that, 3 weeks? So 3 weeks worth of growth. So I'll just add that right in there, nestle that in there. I might need another bag of topsoil because, I don't know, let's see. I mean, hopefully that works good enough right there. There's 2 in this one. It's all good. I just want to make sure the spinach is on the top. I'm not burying any of the leaves here. So what it's feeling like, I'm kind of pulling back the soil, and the soil block is kind of really really sitting on top of the cardboard, really, because of how deep I went or didn't go. But I want to see how well this works. I think this will be all right. It's just from my opinion, experience. I think this will be fine because once I water this in pretty good, I think we'll be a-okay. So I want to make sure I brought this out here once make sure I'm not kicking blueberry bushes back here. So I just put some oh man, sheesh. I just put a couple blueberry bushes in the ground yesterday. I'm over here, boots all in the blueberry bush. Y'all was supposed to have my back on that. I got one, what's that one? Top hat blueberry. I got a high yielding, I forgot the name of that blueberry. I got a Chandler blueberry. Got another high yield blueberry. Got another blueberry bush. I got a couple more over here. But I don't want to over here ruining my progress, right? All right, so my idea is I'm going to put spinach, which is all green. I'm going to put the Swiss chard to kind of give it some color in between. I want to see how that looks. Yeah, imagine, people, the passerbys, the cars, the neighbors, they see the vibrant colors from the Swiss chard. They're going to be inquisitive. Hey, what's that? What do you got growing on? Growing on over there. I had a couple neighbors pass by, and they were kind of intrigued that I had like fruit trees planted in the front yard. Now, yeah, it's a food forest. This is like a foreign concept to them. So, funny story. That's not so funny, depending on your perspective on things. But when I first moved into this neighborhood, maybe 5 years ago, I think it is, I had a neighbor, it's like maybe like first or second day, came waltzing across the street, like, hey, what's your name? I told her my name. Hey, what's your last name? I was thrown off, like, my last name? Like, what do you mean, what's my last name? Why? I don't understand the whys. Like, what's your line of questioning? And she's like, we don't want no trouble around here. For those that know, like what that means, that kind of like, that really had my emotions going. Like, we don't want no trouble around here. Like what do you mean by that? Like, it's just me and my wife. We just purchased our first house, and we're looking to live here, build a family here. You know, had a nice, almost like a 3/4 acre plot of land, and we just wanted to, you know, live peacefully, raise a family, and mind our own business. It was, you know, we don't want no trouble around here. I'm like, what year are we in? I don't understand where that came from, but you know, it was what it was. You know, she made her position clear. We don't want no trouble around here, and you know, long story short, 5 years later, we're still here. Granted, we're not your conventional neighbors, because we don't praising grass and, you know, hiring landscapers to beautifully landscape our land, and everything is just about aesthetics. You know, we're about land forestry, you know, native plants, growing a food forest. You know, what makes sense? What's cost efficient? What makes sense? Growing our own food, what's healthy? And you know, I kind of say that to say, because I'm kind of trying to segue into, she came over recently and said, why are you growing food? Why are you wasting your time growing food? Why don't you just go to the grocery store? And I'm like, again, like, this is unprovoked. I don't understand. Like, I'm minding my own business, growing food for my family. Granted, like, it may have implications in the community, like when you walk by and see food growing, but she had a problem. See, I'm not even paying attention. I'm gonna skip a row with the Swiss chard. See, that story throwing me off. I'll put that right there for a moment. But she had a problem with the fact that I was growing food. Like, that bothered her, to the fact that where she had to come across the street and say, what are you doing? Why are you growing food? Why are you not going to the grocery store and buying food from the grocery store? Just do that. And, you know, ever since she came over and said, we don't want no trouble around here, you know, I haven't had the best picture in my mind as far as, like, of her intentions. I don't think her intentions were good, pure. She looked at us in the right, or a light that looked at us as equals. You know, I don't know what's going on in her mind. I'm gonna take this avocado seed out. It's not really serving a good purpose right here, because the soil's so shallow. I don't want to waste the soil, you know, because it's not deep enough. If I were to plant that, I would rather it go a little deeper in the soil. But I just don't, you know, I wasn't sure about her intentions. So she's like, why don't you plant your own food? I mean, why don't you go to the grocery store instead of growing your own food? Just go to the grocery store. And I don't know if I really needed to justify what I was doing, but I'm just like, we have land. You know, our 3/4 of an acre, most of it is covered in wood chips. I got about 30 dump trucks worth of wood chips dumped on it to cover the grass, so I don't have to mow it, so that I can grow into it and it can revive the soil. The soil back there, the grass didn't go great back there to begin with, and the sun was beating down and degrading the soil from so many years of just grass growing. And I mean, the grass wasn't even so dense back there that it covered the soil completely, so it wasn't even growing healthy. And it was just like the sun beating down that soil. The soil was turning red. It was more clay soil. And it just, you know, based on my research and what I wanted to do and make an impact, you know, at least as far as myself, my family, you know, not being part of the problem. But yeah, I was like, you know, I want to grow my own food. I want to eat healthy. I'd rather not rely on supply chains and grocery stores and just drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, you don't know what's put in your food. You go to the grocery store, you buy something, what's in it? What did they put in it? What did they spray on it? You know, what processes were used? It says organic. If you even choose to buy organic, it says organic. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You don't. But you plant your own food, you're growing your own food, you know the process. You know what's going on. So, you know, I don't think I got an answer out of that one. She kind of just like walked away and brushed it off like, whatever. But, you know, maybe that story is anticlimactic, but it just kind of gave me some more insight just how maybe the typical person in my community thinks. Like, why would you plant a food forest? Why would you grow your own food? That's stupid. You could just go to the grocery store and buy it. So, I'm not with that. If COVID showed me anything, that time frame when people panicked and started panic buying toilet paper, food, canned goods, produce, it was that I don't want to rely on food chains. I couldn't stand to see my kids sitting there struggling, hungry. Daddy, I'm hungry. Daddy, I'm hungry. And I don't have food? I can't provide for my family? Oh, no. That's a no-go. My kid's not about to sit here and look at me, Daddy, I'm hungry, and I can't. No way. So, I'm sorry, you know, that kind of gets me a little bit emotional, you know. You know, as a man, we want to say, all right, our family, our kids, or wife, we're the guiders and providers for our family. And for some, that entails just, you know, going to work, maybe working for somebody, whatever the case may be. I'm not knocking anybody's means of providing for their family, doing what they need to do. But for me, that was like a dog whistle to say, start planting, start growing your own food, start caring about your family and what your family puts in their body. And that was the start of my food forest, you know. And ever since then, this has kind of been my passion, my purpose. And it's kind of been like giving me joy. Like this is not work to me. I come out here and do this. And I've been learning along the way. Like, I didn't know everything. I watched maybe a gazillion YouTube videos on how to do this. And there's so many different methods. Do this way, do this way. Everybody's got their own opinion. But I'm learning. I'm doing things my way now, not just doing what somebody told me to do. And for me, I'm doing what works. There's a Colin Powell book that I read, and he titled it, "It Worked for Me." He's not telling you what to do. This is not a how-to, but this is what I'm doing, and this works for me. So, you know, I kind of live life by, this is what works for me. I use soil blocks now. I don't use any more plug trays. I stopped wasting or using so much plastic. Everything is, you know, for the most part, efficient. But yeah, you know, do what works for you. That's what I suggest. Do what works for you. All right, so far so good. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Gotta kind of be delicate with these. Got some more spinach right here. I might have to go get some more spinach because I have maybe Swiss chard, spinach, Swiss chard. So I'm gonna need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna need at least 4 more spinach. Unless I just use the rest Swiss chard, it's not that big a deal. But if I want to be more of a perfectionist today on camera, then I'll go get some more spinach. But for video purposes, maybe I'll just use Swiss chard for the rest. It's not that big a deal. I have a lot more spinach. I have a lot more Swiss chard to bring out, to plant, to sell. All right, let's start down here. Oh, no, it's a little far. As you can see, I don't really measure. I kind of eyeball things. I go by experience, intuition. I'm more one of those guys, not reading directions, you know, the guy's guy type of guy, the manly man, the Those of you that seen Home Improvement back in the day, you kind of know what I mean. That may go over a lot of people's heads. Tim Allen, Home Improvement. All right. This is looking good, looking good. So with these greens right here, aside from being really careful because it doesn't take but just like a little swipe, a little too much aggression, a little too much haste in planting these, and you kind of bend or break the stem. And that's not what you want to do. So you kind of want to be really careful with the stems, be delicate. I'm trying to not make this too long of a video. Not that I'm not efficient and knowledgeable in how to take care of these and how to handle them. That's why I'm able to move, pretty efficiently. But a lot of people that don't know, you don't understand, these things break easily. These stems are delicate, especially when they're young. So you want to be careful with them. See the soil blocks? So these soil blocks air prune. So I'm not sure if you can zoom in, you can zoom in. See, there's just soil on the side. All right, there's the one side that doesn't get air. There's roots right here. And you can see the roots are just coming out the bottom. These are perfect time to plant. The roots are hanging. It's not getting root bound. And that's one of the beauties of doing soil blocks, because in a plug tray, these roots will start circling and they'll start girdling and choking themselves out. So soil blocks have been an amazing find for me. I knew nothing about soil blocks when I started. All I knew is, get a pot, get some dirt, and put a seed in it. Put some water in it, see what happens. And growing your own food is just so much more complex than getting a seed, some dirt, put some water in it, and wait. Granted, those are the major things, but there's just so many other things that once you start getting, I advise you just stick to those if you're just starting. But once you start getting experience, there's a lot of nuances to get more efficient and get better harvests, to not let things dry out, and soil health, funguses, plant diseases, insects eating your plants, and the list goes on. But if you're a beginner gardener, you never planted anything, you never grew your own food, the biggest thing is to just get started. If you have any questions, or even advice, I'm not like thinking I'm beyond reproach or beyond advice. If you have any advice, I'm still open to suggestions also. I'm planting based on my experience. And granted, I'm planting like 3 in 1 right here. It's not the most ideal. I have so much so many Swiss chards, so many soil blocks growing that I'm like, you know, it grows how it grows. But the average person is probably going to thin that out and, you know, put it one here, one, you know, one in each spot. I'm like, whatever, you know, just trying to get done because I have so much to do. The growing season has started. I have so many more trees to put in the ground. I have so many more bushes to put in the ground, more elderberry, more figs, more blueberries, more raspberries. I got so much to get to that right now I'm not about to bother myself with thinning this out right now. So it is what it is. But for the average person, if you got a small space, you're probably going to want to thin that out. Just my suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do. This is what I do. All right, so these two are kind of tangled up. You don't just want to start ripping them apart because the leaves will kind of, I don't want to say stick together, but they kind of intertwine. And we don't just want to be violent and aggressive with these babies. You know, treat it as if it were like your own infant or, you know, a relative's infant. Your family. Treat them well. And the leaves will, the roots will go where they have room. You know, let them do what they naturally do. And when you water these in, try not to be so aggressive with the water too. Because I'll tell you, from my experience, if you're aggressive with the water, you're gonna come over here with the hose and you're gonna spray it, you're gonna beat them down. The leaves are gonna get almost plastered to the soil, and the leaves are just going to stay sitting on top of the soil. And what you're going to get is the leaves will start rotting and decomposing because the leaves are not meant to be sitting on top of the soil. They don't do well when they sit on top of the soil. So, you know, one of the things you want to try to avoid is leaves sitting on top of the soil. Granted, they're sitting on some of them are sitting on top of the soil now. It is what it is. These are babies. I'm not about to put a whole bunch of mulch in between under them right now. But hopefully by tomorrow morning, the sun will have them standing up and they'll be kind of trying to reach for light in the sun. You know, the rot doesn't happen like right away, like at the snap of a finger. But, you know, you don't want the leaves typically sitting on the soil. And that's it for now. You know, I'm gonna kind of, when I water these in, I'm just gonna mist the soil because you wanna water it in so that the roots, depending on how, you know, how you put them in the soil, you know, again, I'm going by my experience. I'm not the expert, but depending on how you put the roots in the soil, if the roots were dry or the medium that you're taking it out of is fairly dry, and you put them in the soil and you keep it in its root system, in its root ball, in the soil that in a plug or tray that it came in, soil block or whatever, and it's dry and you put it into this soil and it's still in that same medium, it's gonna be dry in that same medium and it's gonna start to continue to die and wither until it is able to branch out and search for water and nutrients. So you always wanna water it in so that the two soils kind of marry each other and it moisten in and the little soil, you know, the water kind of permeates in the little nooks and crannies and the roots can start to kind of settle in and start searching for and settle in water and nutrients and like, you know, like you settle in your bed at night. But, my knees. All right, so I'm gonna go get a hose and water that in real fast. 2 seconds. So I don't have a nozzle on this hose right here. As you can see, I don't have a nozzle on this one. So what I'm doing, I'm just put my finger and just kind of put out a little mister. And I'll kind of mist it. Now I don't like to directly mist them. If I'm not using like a nozzle that has a mister on it, I'll kind of just mist it more in the air and just kind of let it fall on the soil, so to speak, to kind of water them in. And just lightly mist them in, you know, moving it around. I don't want any direct splashing, or we don't want to press those in that soil there. And water that in nicely. And I'm going to give everyone, you know, I'm going to give you guys an update with how well these are doing. Or even if they're not doing well, I'll let you know. But I got full confidence that these will be fine. And that's it for the most part. You know, after this, it's just patience. If you choose to add fertilizer and nutrients to your soil, you choose to do that. For the most part, I like to choose to rely on compost and natural nutrients, but you do what works for you. I'm Terrence here from Root Healthy Plants, and good luck on your planting journey, growing your food forest. And I appreciate you for watching. If you got something useful out of this video, please subscribe, put any comments in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Good luck.